Hey guys, welcome to the Deansy Boy Show podcast. I am your host, Reese Deans, and welcome to another episode of the Deansy Boy Show. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the second episode, as there were two parts of the Barrytown United series special for the second episode, as we had Ryan Cox on the show talking about his days as a supporter, him being the voice of Jenna Park, and I had a good time interviewing him, and so did he. And Ryan, this message goes out to you personally. Feel free to come back on the Deansy Boy Show. We'll talk more on football, we'll talk more on wrestling, whatever you want to talk about, we will have it on the Deansy Boy Show, no problem whatsoever. And guys, help me to send the message across to Ryan Cox to say all the best in the future, and well, basically I'll see him in the future because I'm good mates with him. We'll go and watch the football, but we'll have another interview soon. Now, guys, this past week has been amazing. We've had NXT Dallas. We've had WrestleMania. Now, I've watched NXT Dallas and basically I was blown away by it. Literally, the matches were unbelievable. I mean, the Revival versus American Alpha, I thought that was the most brilliant tag team match ever. I mean, it was awesome. They had everything apart from the botch where they tried to do the pile driver, when they were trying to do there on that in the corner, but it was awesome. New tag team champions. But I just like the Nakamura and Sami Zayn match. They literally tried to kill each other. They literally did try to kill each other. It was I just really can't just explain it, because it was proper wrestling through. They can't do that in WWE itself. They have to say, no, you got 5-minute matches in WWE. No, you got 20-minute matches in NXT. That is the law. You know, it's law. You know, you can explore loads of things. You know, even if NXT have the smallest times, like timing of matches, you know, like if they only have 3 minutes to wrestle, I mean, I'm sure they can still tell a story from that, because Nakamura and Sami Zayn, you know, they've been in the business, well, for God knows how long, and they know how to put on a show. And also the women's title match, I thought both female competitors really did put on a good show. I mean, I felt sorry for Bayley, but I think her time to go into the WWE is now. She passed the torch over. I know, it's one of those things where you gotta face the facts. Not everyone can be an NXT champion for long. I mean, if you have a look, you know, you had Neville, you had Biggie, you had Bo Dallas. I'm sure some of them had very good futures ahead of them. Yeah. But speaking of the NXT Championship, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, NXT Championship, 30 seconds into the match. Oh my fucking God, Samoa Joe bled. He bled to death. He was dying. He was going to be killed. But then again, Finn Balor was going to be killed because he pissed him off. He did piss off Samoa Joe. And I've now, the one thing about that night, what really pissed me off, was because of the way they had to stop the match all the time to wipe the blood of Samoa Joe's face, cover him with some cream Vaseline, I think it was, and you know, for him to carry on the match. But they had to keep stopping it because he kept bleeding. Now, I really don't like it when they have to stop the blood, and like, you know, stop the blood from flowing. I know some of you guys are probably listening and trying to tell me, look, you know, it's WWE, they can't bleed anymore. You know, it's the policy. It's all sorts of things, you know, the health and safety, you know, they can't catch anything, you know, what if like Samoa Joe's eye swells up and everything. You know, I can completely understand this, but also I'm trying to look at it as another perspective, that, you know, Samoa Joe was actually trying to push him out of the way, saying, look, I'm wrestling here, you know, don't worry about it. Now, when I was watching NXT Dallas and I was watching the main event, you know, it only pissed me off because the medics and the referee kept trying to get involved. I think when I was trying to understand this, I kept thinking to myself, you know what, okay, he's bleeding, fair enough, but if the referee would have gone over and say, are you alright to carry on, it'd be like, yeah, I mean, it's not like Samoa Joe has bled before, you know, I mean, in TNA, but in the eyes of WWE, there's no such thing as TNA. But Samoa Joe, has bled before. I've seen him bled before, and I'm sure he has no problem whatsoever. And I know, like, some of the blood is actually sweat, because halfway in the match they're sweating, so they do the blading, and then all of a sudden the blood comes. It's like, oh my god, he's bleeding. You know, I can perfectly understand that, but it is hard for me to explain it, because it is one of those moments where, you know what, if they start bleeding, it's going to be once in a lifetime. I mean, like, if you have a look at Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, they done a blade job, right? I mean, the medics went all scary shit, like, oh my god, they're bleeding. It's like, no, they fucking blade. You could tell they blade. So just piss off. It's not serious. Just leave them alone. You know, if they ever... I always felt like, okay, I know it's PG, but I think the fans said it for themselves. Fuck PG, you know. Not everything has to be all kid friendly and all parental guidance and all, you know, all that shit. Because the thing is, the adults pay for the ticket. They want to see some adult attraction. Now, I'm saying go back to the Attitude Era, where they actually did like extreme adults theme basis. But I mean, like, you know, just give some adults who've been watching WWE longer than the kids have something for them to watch. I mean, come on. I mean, so I think Triple H, William Regal, Vince McMahon himself has probably heard the fucking fans saying, you know, I mean, just listen to the fans, you know. I mean, does the PG era actually have to work? I mean, does it have to work in a way that, we have to have cheesy storylines and all that? And, I mean, just, it is just getting ridiculous. So, yeah, so when they kept stopping the match and the cleaner Joe's blood, and then the fans showed their frustration as they started chanting "fuck PG." You know, I felt they need to do the same, because it wasn't the fact that he bled, even though he did. I mean, it wasn't because of that. It was just because they just kept stopping the match all the time. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I think they shouldn't. If they clean the blood first, okay. If they feel like it's worse, but I mean, they're cleaning that blood. They can obviously see it. If the cut's like not that, not that big, they'd be like, oh, okay, it's not. So you want to carry on? Do you mean to clean up? Oh, fuck it, you know. I'd be like that. I'd be like, nah, fuck it. My eye swells up and pops. You know, fuck it. It's wrestling. Shit happens. You know, I mean, if it was worse, then I can perfectly understand. Stop the match, but so let's just move on from the bleeding thing and all the blood and the cuts and everything, because the match itself was really, really amazing. Because Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, they put on a great match. I mean, they must have. I mean, they have wrestled before. They've done loads of stuff to each other, but like WWE. Banning some moves, they're not going to put on a 100% a similar match to what they did in the independent circuits, but it was still good. It was still brilliant, and it's NXT. Anything can happen, and I can rate NXT Dallas as a 5 out of 5 event altogether, because they brought the wrestling with them. They got everything any fan would love to see. Now, NXT Dallas. Let's put that out of the way. I know I'm very quick. I've only spoke 8 minutes about NXT Dallas, but to be honest with you, there's not much to say any negatives about NXT Dallas apart from the cutting situation. But I mean, there's all the positives. I mean, it was just awesome, and I'm speechless because it was that awesome. So I have to give it a 5 out of 5 on that one. But what I really want to discuss about is the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. Now, moving on from the NXT Dallas, it was still 5 out of 5 event. But what I really came to do the podcast with you is because I watched the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, I'm going to talk about the celebrity wing. Now, if the WWE are going to take it seriously and having a celebrity wing, then they shouldn't induct a celebrity who's only made little appearances. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the same. Unless Arnold Schwarzenegger has actually, contributed his stuff, apart from just making an appearance and punching Triple H. Because on the induction video that he had, that was just basically it. They said, oh yeah, he's been in films. He punched Triple H. So that's why he's in the WWE Hall of Fame now, because he just punched Triple H. That's just fucking ridiculous. But putting over like the likes of Motorhead and Limp Bizkit. I know some of you might say Limp Bizkit. No. But I mean, they have contributed a lot to the WWE. Now, I mean, it is ludicrous because they actually contributed their work to the WWE. I mean, just think about it. Motorhead have done 3 songs for Triple H and performed them at more than one WrestleMania. You know, and the same goes to Limp Bizkit, as their songs, you know, like Rollin' was the Undertaker's theme music, and they performed 2 of their songs at 2 WrestleManias because it was the theme songs of the shows. That was WrestleMania 17, My Way, and WrestleMania 19, Crack at It, and it was brilliant, you know. And Limp Bizkit performed not 1 but 2 songs, Rollin' for the Undertaker's entrance and Crack at It halfway into the show, you know, and it was brilliant. You know, it was a brilliant match. So I mean, Snoop Dogg's induction, it was just, I thought it was a bit pointless, you know, because you know, he's only made little appearances, and when I was watching the induction video, he said he's done loads of albums, he's made loads of films, he's done this, he's done that, and they're like, well, yes, he's made appearances, he's done this, done that, but that's not contributing to the WWE. What's he done with the WWE? What can actually secure his position, his place in the Hall of Fame? And there was nothing I could put my finger on apart from, like, oh yeah, he made WrestleMania appearance, he made a Raw appearance, and that was basically it. That was it. But with Motorhead, I mean, putting over Lemmy, for fuck's sake, I know I don't swear much on the Deansy Boy Show, but for fuck's sake, why did, and what kind of idiot put Snoop Dogg over Lemmy? I mean, Lemmy passed away a few months ago. Well, you know, he passed away a few months ago, and I thought, oh, you know what, because not the fact he died, oh, please, don't get me wrong, but because, you know, he passed away, I'm sure that Triple H would have stepped in and go, yeah, well, we need to commemorate his memory, we need to put him in the Hall of Fame. I would have agreed on that, by far, you know, because he deserves it, he contributed his work to the WWE, and there's no doubt that Lemmy should have been inducted before Snoop Dogg. No offense, Snoop Dogg. I love the Snoop Doggy Dogg. You know, I love his music. You know, it's the motherfucking D-O-double-G. But you know, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. He's not worth it at all. And that's what really gets on my nerves about the celebrity ring. They induct people that only make 2 appearances. Whereas I know, like Mr. T, he was on his occupation list. He is described as a retired professional wrestler. He's wrestled in the ring. He's helped globalize wrestling. You know, he participated in WrestleMania 1. He done I can't say a good match in WrestleMania 2, but he deserves it. I mean, Mr. T far out does deserve that moment. I mean, Pete Rose, 3 WrestleMania appearances, 1 commercial advert for No Mercy. Maybe William the Refrigerator Perry. Maybe. Yeah, okay. I'll probably agree, accept that, because it's just William the Refrigerator Perry. But Snoop Dogg in the Hall of Fame, I can't. Not really. But anyway, some of the other inductees into the Hall of Fame, you know, the likes of the Freebirds, Tick, Sting, Tick, you know, Stan Henson, Tick, you know, they all made wrestling entrances. Some people have been complaining about the Godfather, Big Boss Man, and Jacqueline into the Hall of Fame. Now, here's my perspective on it. Here's my opinion. Firstly, the Big Boss Man, he does deserve his place in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. It's not because he's achieved so little. I know he's been the 4-time hardcore champion. He's been the world tag team, one half of the tag team champions, one with Ken Shamrock. But it's also because he's loved by the fans. You know, every time his music came out, you'd either love him, you'd hate him. But, you know, he's been in some memorable matches. You know, his matches with the Mountie, Mr. Perfect, Mick Foley, Al Snow, you know, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, you know, so majority of those men who faced the Big Boss Man, you know, and he's been in the two areas, the 80s era where it was all bright, colourful, and say your prayers and eat your vitamins and all that, and then you had the Attitude Era. I thought he was a very underrated wrestler, because I thought he'd have a big push for the Intercontinental title, because he is one of those wrestlers who does deserve a shot at the title. And I mean, I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't get the opportunity. But the Big Boss Man, I feel that he deserved his place in the Hall of Fame. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly do think he does. Now, Jacqueline, if you haven't seen the Hall of Fame video for the induction of Jacqueline, go and watch it, because it explains everything in why Jacqueline is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to say anything about Jacqueline. It's not me being feminist or anything like that. It's because it's answered my question. So you've got to watch it. Just watch the video, and it explains everything that I want to say about Jacqueline. So cut it short. Jacqueline does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, The Godfather. Now, I reckon The Godfather should have been inducted later on in the following years. Don't get me wrong, I like The Godfather. I like the Pimp Daddy, but going by his real name, Charles Wright, he was known as Karma and Papa Shango, but they've not been really good. Let's just put it that way. They've not been good gimmicks, especially Papa Shango doing the botch time in WrestleMania 8, I think it was. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the gimmick, The Godfather. I remember when I was a kid, when they came out with the hose. I mean, I was only a kid, but so I wasn't like desensitized about that. Like, I had to put on a big furry coat, a hat, and a cane, and see, oh, look at my bitches, But I think I looking back, I thought, I should have done that. But then again, I haven't got a life, so the less said, the better. But he has won the Intercontinental title. He has become one half of the tag team champions. I think it was going to happen one day, or later on in the following years to come. But I would have had someone else, someone different. I think there's many wrestlers out there that should have been inducted over The Godfather. I mean, the likes of Brian Pillman, Vader, DDP, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, Owen Hart. I'll get back to you on that one, on Owen Hart. I'll get back to you on that one. JBL does deserve it. I mean, he has had loads of accomplishments as a mid-carder with the tag teams, with the APA, going to a big heavyweight champion. He does deserve it. And the managers like Slick. I mean, Slick inducted the Big Boss Man. I don't know why he's not even in the Hall of Fame. Jim Cornette, but I don't know what's going on with that one. Like the likes of Slick and Jim Cornette. But no offense to The Godfather, I just think someone better should have been inducted, and that's my opinion. Now, going back on Owen Hart, the debate about him going into the Hall of Fame, it's all been 50-50. I mean, firstly, the negative, going through the negative points. Firstly, his death. Owen Hart tragically died in 1999 at Over the Edge after he fell 80 feet from the rafters, falling onto the turnbuckle, and it wasn't a very it wasn't a very nice way to go out, and it was certainly was a tragic event. We all know that. I mean, it's hard for me to talk about it, because it's Owen Hart we're talking about. It's one of the best Canadian professional wrestlers ever. If some people now, here's the thing, his death has been so tragic and so well known that if you talk about Owen Hart's accomplishments as the European champion, and I think the Intercontinental champion, or he could have been the Intercontinental champion, tag team champions, a Slammy winner, some of the big upsets, including beating Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10. Owen's name Owen's name will mostly be, if you just mention it, they're gonna say, oh yeah, he died in that accident, didn't he? You know, his death is more well known than the accomplishments he had in the professional wrestling industry. You know, they'll mainly mention his death rather than his accomplishments. You know, also in the likes of like die-hard wrestling fans or wrestling experts, they have said he's not worthy, but he is, because even though he's going to be remembered as that wrestler who tragically died in 1999, you know, Owen Hart has had a fantastic career. He's been a brilliant athletic wrestler. You know, he's done it all. You know, and I don't see why not. He's worthy enough to be in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know what the fuck people are saying he's not worthy, so they can all shut the hell up. One last negative point, because I know there's loads and loads of negatives out there, but this is the main one, the granddaddy of them all, is that his wife said no. Now, people have comments about her being bitter, harsh, and emotionally unfair, but look at her perspective. This is the wife of the wrestler who tragically died during the working as a wrestler. He died during his work time, you know, and the wife, Martha Hart, has now been left to look after the kids, the housing, and all that sort of things. You know, it is a big thing, and I'm mixed with her way in trying to keep her husband's legacy alive. Now, I'm on neither side, where he should be in the Hall of Fame or should be on the wife's side, but I'm in the middle, because I'm 50-50 with this one. Now, her way of trying to keep her husband's legacy is kind of I can't say stupid, well, I'll say ludicrous for now, but it's just really, how can, I mean, she started running the Owen Hart Foundation, in which you'll keep children in need, give them an education, give them the benefit of learning, and all sorts of things. And they have actually done events where they brought in famous A-star listers like Ringo Starr, Robin Williams, Steve Martin, Russell Brand, you know, just to name a few. I mean, it was a dream for Owen. To become a teacher, even before and after, or even thinking of retiring professional wrestling and going on to teaching. I mean, I think it was a nice touch in a way, but the problem is people, and I'm talking about wrestling and non-wrestling fans, they don't know much about the foundation. I think it's only in America or Canada that's well known. I mean, globally, I mean, it's not going to be... I don't think in America people do know much about the Owen Hart Foundation, because it's hard to say that. Martha is trying to expel Owen Hart from the history of wrestling, but actually she is in a way, because Owen is known as a professional wrestler and part of the the Hart family. No one will forget Owen for what he's done for the wrestling industry, but Martha doesn't want the company who was responsible for the death to glamorize and sell Owen Hart's name. But I think 17 years is long enough to hold a grudge, but I'm not Martha, so I gotta respect her opinions, and I gotta respect her interests in how her husband should be remembered. Now, she is still holding a grudge against the WWE, because it was an act, because like I said so many times, he died during a show, a WWE show or WWF show at the time. But even though it was an accident, it was a tragic accident. I don't think, you know, I think there should be more. Well, should there be more to explain about the death? I don't know. You know, it's got to come down to WWE and Martha, but I don't think Martha is willing to negotiate some sort of arrangements or deal to have a meeting with Vince McMahon and just talk about what actually happened and what will happen in the future. But say now the WWE and Owen Hart's wife shake hands, done and dusted. They sorted out their problems. Now, if they were going to do, like, I know they've done a WWE documentary. I know they've done a DVD about Owen Hart. But now, say if they were going to use Owen Hart's name again and they were going to put him in the Hall of Fame and they were making money off it, I think what they should do is like the amount if you want to improve the legacy of Owen Hart and you're making money off it, I think the money that the WWE make on Owen Hart's name should be going to the Owen Hart Foundation, because because it's the right thing to do, and because it will help WWE's image, even though their image is too kid friendly anyway. But anyway, it will benefit their image, and it will help Martha achieving her late husband's dream. The foundation will be more recognizable. It will improve everything, in Owen Hart's in the Hall of Fame. I think that will happen that way, and it will improve the relationship between the Hart family and the WWE. But most importantly of all, if you're going to make money off Owen Hart's name, I think it would be wise to donate the money that has been earned from Owen Hart's name using the DVDs, merchandise and everything, and should go to the Owen Hart Foundation. And that's my opinion on the Owen Hart Hall of Fame debate. It is hard for me to talk about it. It's like just now I'm trying to talk about it, but it is very hard to discuss on the situation. Now, let's just move on from the Hall of Fame now. Let's just move on from Owen Hart, and all the best for the Hart family, all the best for Owen Hart's family as well, Martha and her 2 kids. And, it could happen one day, maybe one day, but we'll just have to see. Now, WrestleMania 32 has drawn the attention recently. I went to watch it. I was watching it at my mate's house, and I thought the first half hour, 45 minutes of the show was really good. The unexpected win for Zack Ryder in the Intercontinental match. I literally jumped off my seat. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. They actually got Zack Ryder to be, they're pushing Zack Ryder. And then the return of Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold, my childhood, had returned, and they started kicking the League of Nations ass, and then Stone Cold stunned Xavier Woods, which I thought that was the most beautiful thing I ever seen. But then it all went downhill. It all went fucking downhill. It was... some of the matches on there, I just thought they were absolutely fucking pointless, and there's the pre-show... The pre-shows, it was just like... no one liked them. No one liked that Kalisto one, even though it was a good win for him. But that's Ryback's career done. He's done. No one likes the Usos as well, and then, putting them over. Letting them win and treating the Dudley Boys like shit. It's just absolutely fucking ridiculous. And then, and later on in the events, I just can't. The AJ Styles and Chris Jericho match, it was really good. It was a match to remember, but why Chris Jericho should win it, I do not know. AJ Styles should have won that match by far, but he's got to push. I don't know if you watched Monday Night Raw recently, but he's got to push. He's going for the title, but I think he's going to lose because there's Roman Reigns. He's fucking boring, but people are still booing him. There could be a heel to him because he doesn't really care. He's hating the fans, so fingers crossed. But now, I think WrestleMania, they had the Divas match, the triple threat match, but it's not the Divas match anymore. It's the women's match. It's the new title for the women's championship. It does give the women the benefit now of having more share of the fame, the respect that it deserves. The gender equality, it's brilliant. I thought the belt was very nice touch. Goodbye to the Barbie doll belt. Hello, WWE belt. Hello, WWE women's belt. And I hope But having Charlotte winning the match, I think she did not deserve it. I thought Sasha Banks deserved it, but that's my personal opinion. Let's continue. Now, if I've missed out a few matches, I'm sorry, but the reason why, because you're staying up to watch some of the matches, and and sometimes you can't remember them. But I remember one, the Undertaker and the Shane McMahon match. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the match, even though it was slow because it's two old men going at it. But it was still a great match. They still had great moments, and Shane McMahon died in the ring. Well, he didn't die in the ring, he died out of the ring, but I think he survived, just jumping off the cell onto the announce table. That was fucking awesome. I enjoyed that. It got me out of my seat. It was brilliant. It was awesome. I give my hats off to Shane McMahon for doing some of these stunts, but I give my hat off to both men putting on a fantastic match. It was really good, but I'd say it was better than the main event, because it was the most. But I can't really talk about Roman Reigns and Triple H. It was just I just can't. I really just can't talk about it much. Because it was just really the most boring and dull main event ever. I think it was one of the top 10. It's part of the top 10 worst WrestleMania main events, along with Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. It was just absolutely atrocious. I just can't. Oh, for fuck's sake, it just really pissed me off. It really did piss me off. WrestleMania 32 altogether, I'm mixed by it, but I think it wasn't one of the best WrestleManias. But it really does frustrate me in talking about it. So I'm not going to talk much about it. And just to say, folks, I have announced that I was going to WrestleMania 33. I'm still going, and hope to God that it's going to be 10 times, 100,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than WrestleMania 32. I mean, the only thing I can... Well, I mean, I think I missed out The Rock, but because it's not always good that you're going to have The Rock coming back and making an appearance. But I'm actually... I know I'm anti John Cena, but I'm actually glad that John Cena is back. He's in ring action now. I know he wasn't there at the Monday Night Raw, but still, I'm glad he's back. I know he's back in action and all that. But it's gotta be much more to get the crowd going again. But WWE, it's going downhill. It's dying. It's no one's really liking it at the moment, and it really frustrates me in talking about WWE. So, out of 10 for WrestleMania, I'd say a generous 4.5. I give it a 4.5 out of 10, only because Zack Ryder's Intercontinental win, the Undertaker and Shane McMahon Hell in a Cell match. The women's match, the women's triple threat match, those are the matches that really got me interested. But all the rest, it was just a bit of a letdown, really. So I have to finish on that about WrestleMania 32. I mean, even the 101,000. I mean, if you were going to have 100,000 people coming to the stadium, please, for the love of God, book it right. Or just fire every single one of the creative team, any of the creative writers, and bring back Vince Russo. Well, just sort it out, WWE. For fuck's sake, you're on thin fucking ice here. But that's all I've got. That's all I've got to say on WrestleMania 32. Now, guys, the episode 10 is near. It's drawing nearer, guys. I hope you send in your questions via Twitter, email. My email is deans_reese@yahoo.com. Send me your questions for the Q&A. You can send me questions on Facebook as well. Whoever's friends with me, just send in the questions, and also you can add a comment. Just anything. Just send me anything, but keep it nice, keep it sweet. Don't be all stupid and start insulting other people and all that sort of things. Apart from the wrestlers, just don't insult me. I'm only doing what I love to do. But just keep keep sending in your questions. You never know, your question could be coming up on the Deansy Boy Show. And if you want to keep update with me, just subscribe to me, add a comment, follow me on Twitter at Deansy Boy. The same stuff, like the previous episodes I said, just follow me on Twitter at Deansy Boy, subscribe, leave a comment, like it, whatever. And in the future, we'll have the Q&A, and you could just ask me anything you want. Now, I have to conclude this episode on a sad note here, because recently, last week, the British wrestling base was left halted and left in shock by the passing of professional wrestler Chris Travis, one of the all-time best, one of the most famous professional wrestlers in the British circuit, or even in America as well. I've heard, there've been loads of people from America sending in tributes to him, etc. But Chris Travis has sadly passed away after battling with stomach cancer. And I've seen Chris Travis in action, and he was a talented individual. He was brilliant in the ring. He was entertaining. He was, he fought some of the best wrestlers. He was on TNA, and people said he deserved a lot more. He should have deserved to go to NXT, go to WWE. I think so. I've seen some of his videos. He was that talented. He should have deserved a lot more. And I have to send out my thoughts and my prayers to Travis's family and friends at this time. And just to conclude the Deansy Boy Show, I just like to say, Chris Travis, rest in peace. God bless. Thank you.